What I'm about to share with you will fundamentally alter how you understand your own existence. This isn't about a new mindset or a clever life hack. This is a principle so profound that the moment you grasp it, everything you thought you knew about your life and your reality becomes obsolete. Now, here is the radical truth. The world around you, everything you see, touch, and experience, exists in a state of pure potential until the precise moment you choose to acknowledge it. Think about that. Your environment isn't a solid, concrete stage on which you are merely an actor. It is a fluid, responsive canvas, suspended in infinite possibility, waiting for the brushstroke of your conscious awareness to bring it into being. This concept isn't mystical philosophy. It is rooted in the hard, verifiable science of cutting-edge quantum mechanics. To understand this, we must look at the groundbreaking double-slit experiment, a test so bizarre it shattered our entire perception of reality. In laboratories, physicists discovered that when subatomic particles, the fundamental building blocks of our world, moved through space completely unobserved, they didn't behave like solid little balls. Instead, they behaved like waves, existing simultaneously in countless potential states, a shimmering cloud of possibilities. They were everywhere and nowhere at once. However, the instant a conscious observer, a scientist, focused their attention to measure which slit the particle went through, something extraordinary occurred. In that exact moment of observation, the wave of possibilities immediately collapsed, and a single, definite particle appeared in a specific location. Let the weight of that sink in. The mere act of conscious observation fundamentally transformed the nature of reality itself. This single discovery reveals the most startling truth about your life. You are far from being a helpless bystander in this cosmic drama. You weren't placed here to endure a predetermined storyline written by forces beyond your control. You are the conscious director of the quantum theater of existence. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are constantly selecting from an infinite menu of possibilities and collapsing them into the concrete experiences you call your life, all through the focused application of your awareness. But here is a critical distinction that most people fail to grasp about this creative process. The collapse from a wave of possibility into a particle of reality doesn't happen randomly or through simple wishful thinking. It follows specific, predictable quantum principles that govern how your consciousness interacts with the infinite field of potential. So let's bring this out of the laboratory and into your life. Right now, as you listen, countless versions of your future exist simultaneously in the quantum field. Close your eyes for a moment and feel this. There is a timeline where you are vibrantly healthy, financially sovereign, and living your deepest purpose. Feel the energy of that version of you, the confidence, the freedom, the joy. Now, feel another timeline, one where you are still stuck in your current patterns, replaying the same struggles. Feel its weight, its familiarity. Quantum mechanics confirms that both of these, and infinite variations in between, are equally real possibilities. The question is not whether your dream life exists as a potential. It absolutely does. The question is, which one of these timelines are you consistently collapsing into reality through the lens of your observation? This is the very heart of the trap where most people spend their entire lives. They believe they are objectively observing the world, but what they are actually doing is perpetually selecting the same undesirable version of reality, forcing it to manifest again and again. Let's get specific. You wake up. What is the first thing you observe? Do you reach for your phone to check your bank account with a familiar sense of dread? Do you immediately start replaying yesterday's arguments or worrying about tomorrow's challenges? When you do this, you are not just seeing what is. You are a director, in the first moments of your day, shouting action on the set of your old, tired movie. You are actively casting your most powerful vote for that specific, limited timeline to remain your reality for another 24 hours. Day after day, you engage in these identical thought patterns, you trigger the same emotional responses, And through this relentless, repetitive observation of your current problems, you unconsciously command the universe to recreate the same reality endlessly. This isn't happening because you want it, but because you haven't yet discovered how to consciously fire yourself from the role of director of your problems and hire yourself as the director of your potential. So, how does this quantum principle translate into your actual lived experience? Let's use a practical example that demonstrates this in action. Imagine two people experiencing the exact same challenging event, a sudden job loss. Now watch closely. Person A immediately observes this event through the lens of limitation. Their focus instantly snaps to financial fears, the feeling of rejection, and a story of scarcity. Their internal monologue is a loop of "why me?" and "I'll never find something better." With every moment they emotionally invest in these thoughts, they are feeding that pattern with their life force energy, actively collapsing a timeline of struggle and limitation into their experience. Now, consider person B. They experience the identical external circumstance. But after the initial shock, they consciously choose to observe the event through the lens of possibility. They redirect their focus to new opportunities, growth, and expansion. They emotionally engage with generative questions like, "What new path wants to emerge now?" Or, "This is redirecting me towards something greater." Person B is actively collapsing a timeline of opportunity and expansion into their reality. The quantum field doesn't judge which observation is better. It simply responds with perfect precision, delivering experiences that match their sustained, emotionally charged observation. But this leads to a crucial question that most manifestation teachings miss entirely. The quantum field doesn't just respond to your conscious intentions. It responds to your unconscious patterns as well. In fact, your unconscious programming often has far more influence, because while your conscious focus might last for a few minutes a day, your unconscious operates 24/7. This explains why people can visualize abundance for 20 minutes each morning but still live in financial struggle. Their conscious mind is observing prosperity, but their unconscious mind, the giant, submerged part of the iceberg, is observing lack, unworthiness, and scarcity for the remaining 23 hours and 40 minutes. The quantum field always responds to the dominant signal, which is usually the unconscious programming running in the background. This means the real work isn't just learning to focus on what you want. It's learning to become conscious of the unconscious patterns that have been quietly directing your life all along. So, what is the solution to this internal conflict between your conscious desires and your unconscious programming? The answer lies in developing what quantum physicists call coherence, a state where your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are finally aligned and working together, not contradicting each other. Imagine you are trying to tune an old analog radio. When you're perfectly tuned to the station, you get a clear, strong, beautiful signal. That is coherence. But when you're slightly off, even by a millimeter, you get static, noise, and interference. Your consciousness works exactly the same way. Most people live their entire lives in a state of profound incoherence, broadcasting static into the quantum field. They consciously say, "I want a loving relationship," but their emotional state, their energetic broadcast, is saturated with the frequency of past betrayals and the fear of being hurt again. They consciously affirm, "I am a successful entrepreneur," but their deep, unconscious beliefs whisper, "What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?" The quantum field, being a perfect mirror, receives these mixed, chaotic signals and responds with mixed, chaotic results. A little progress here, a major setback there. A glimmer of hope followed by a crushing disappointment. Just enough to keep them hooked, but never enough to create real, lasting transformation. Achieving coherence, therefore, requires what I call quantum self-awareness. It's the ability to observe not just your surface-level thoughts, but the entire spectrum of your inner experience. Your emotional undertones, your gut feelings, your unconscious beliefs, and the very quality of your attention itself. It is the practice of becoming so familiar with your inner landscape that you can instantly detect when you are off-key, when you are broadcasting static. And in that moment of awareness, you can consciously choose to realign all aspects of your being toward that single desired outcome, turning your entire consciousness from a noisy, chaotic mess into a pure, focused laser beam of intention. This leads us to the most advanced and most powerful practice of all: cultivating the silent observer. Within you exists a space that remains unmoved by appearances and unshaken by circumstances. It's the aspect of you that simply observes without panic, without projection, without the constant mental noise. This silent observer doesn't attempt to manifest through force or pressure. It understands a deeper truth. Reality reorganizes itself not through noise, but through stillness. Not through demanding, but through witnessing with pure presence. In the quantum realm, the wave of potential doesn't collapse because you struggle. It collapses when you observe with crystal clarity and unwavering certainty. So, how do you live from this elevated state? You begin by practicing pure presence. You train your nervous system to feel secure in uncertainty. You release the habit of constant mental analysis. You begin to observe your thoughts like passing clouds, allowing them to move through you without grasping or resisting them. You breathe more deeply. You slow your pace. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The things you previously chased with great effort begin moving toward you on their own. Not because you increased your efforts, but because you became more empty of noise and more full of pure being. So here is the final, empowering truth. You were never simply placed in this existence to passively watch events unfold. You came here to shape reality with your conscious presence. Most people believe they're waiting for something external to shift, but in the quantum realm, nothing moves until you observe it into motion. You are not just watching this cosmic movie, you are directing it. So stop reacting and start radiating. Stop pleading and start broadcasting. Stop explaining and start embodying. If this message has connected with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more consciousness-expanding content. And as a final declaration, a signal to the universe that you are now viewing life through the lens of creation, affirm in the comments below. I am choosing what to observe. Let the act of writing these words serve as a vibrational anchor, a signal to the universe that you are now ready. Now, understanding the observer effect is just the beginning. Most people struggle because they're still attached to their old identity, which keeps pulling them back into familiar patterns. In my video right here, Let Go of the Old You, Reality Shifts Instantly, I reveal the exact process for releasing these outdated versions of yourself so your new reality can emerge effortlessly. This is the missing piece that accelerates everything we've discussed today. Click it and let's continue this journey together.